What's going on, Chattanooga? It's your girl, Zine of K here with Brewer Media Group. And of course, we're always having lovely people in the building. Today, we have the comedian, one and only writer, and successful loser, in her words, not mine, from South Georgia. It's Brooke Berry. How are you doing?
Good.
Oh, don't do that. Look, she's going to loosen up in a little bit, but she's in town. She's going to be at the Big Chill on the 30th, and then the night after at the Comedy Catch. So you guys come out and check her out. But before that, we're going to get into who she is and how she came to be. Don't be nervous. Okay. All right, so how'd you get into comedy? Was it like a dare, breakdown, boredom, trying to get out of a bully situation?
A breakdown sounds good.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more about it.
No, I think probably what maybe got me into comedy was just sort of my natural inclination of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I started out writing pretty young, but it was mostly like poems, short stories, even a memoir that I started, early 30s. I'm still working on. And then I've always loved comedy, even as a kid. But it's just a different form of storytelling. And when I started doing it about 4 years ago, I realized that it was actually my preferred way of storytelling.
Do you remember the first lines of that poem or that piece of writing that you did?
Oh, gosh, no. I don't remember that.
It's okay.
No, I don't remember that.
Okay, so where would you say you get your inspiration from? Your real life, anywhere dreams? Like, where is the inspiration for your material?
For the comedy, my life growing up in South Georgia, it was pretty crazy, as many people's lives are. And like I said, I wrote a lot about my life in poetry and memoir, but those are all very sort of like what's the word? Grief-stricken, prose. And so when I came to comedy, I was like, well, maybe there's a different perspective. But it's taken me a long time to get to that perspective. And now that I've gotten there, actually, I feel more comfortable telling my story through comedy.
Yeah. So turning that, sort of negative into a positive.
Yeah.
Laughing at it.
A little bit.
Now, I got your bio here, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about these first lines, okay? It says, Brooke Berry is a writer, comedian, and successful loser from South Georgia. It also mentions that you were raised on a farm by dogs, and you were also kidnapped and living out of a semi-truck when you were 10 years old. Now, can you break that down?
Yeah.
Now, how much of that? now, walk me through what happened there, I guess, or just the upbringing, if you will.
Well, it's a lot. Be careful, people, how you write your bios. So yeah, I was kidnapped. I would say at the time I didn't realize I was kidnapped, right? Because I was like 10, so and who I thought was my real daddy at the time. So I just thought like, all right, cool. It was like during a pretty, I don't even know the word for it, intense divorce going on. And so I thought we were just going on a trip without everyone else. I mean, from looking back, and it wasn't until I got older, and my grandmother, who's no longer here, started telling me more and more about, like, from their side of, things, how they were looking for me, and there was, like, this, what do you call it, ABV album put out or whatever, and, I just didn't think of anything of it. But he was a truck driver, and so he just sort of took me and we just went all around the country hauling mobile homes.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And
as a little girl, I'm sure that's like, you're like, Dad, we're moving around, we're having fun.
Yeah, sometimes, it was like that. And sometimes, he didn't like stop a whole lot to pull over. He was like, had to get from one place and then one place to the next, so we didn't stop for, every now and again we stopped for showers at truck stops, so I smelled really bad. I wore the same shoes, for like an entire summer. And they smelled pretty bad. We would pack a cooler full of like canned Cokes and peanut butter and cheese crackers, and that's just what we would eat, as we were on the road. And it was scary at times, driving these big trucks in the snow and the rain up in the mountains. And he was kind of a fearless man. Obviously. He just like kidnapped someone and was trying to get Trucker of the Year the same year. So he was pretty ambitious.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
He did?
He did.
Oh.
Yeah. Good for him. Yeah. He got Trucker of the Year. So.
Yes. Did y'all celebrate? Were you with him when he found out or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good.
Well, you lived a truly wild life. How do you decide which stories are ready for the stage and which ones to keep?
Well, that's a good question. Sometimes, if I write something new and I go and perform it, like at a show or open mic, and it's the first time, I'm like, well, I'll let my audience tell me if this is ready or not. But then I'm like, well, then how do they know? If it, you know what I mean?
That's true.
And it's like, well, people are like, well, if they laughed and it's, and I'm like, well, I don't know. So, to me, I always get like a little bit of a feeling when I know that something, it just kind of feels right. Like I know this, like I can write a joke, and I am more of a storyteller, right? So I don't have a lot of one-liners. So I kind of have a story, and then I work with a lot of callbacks, like I come back to this.
Yes.
And that's sort of how I rely on the structure. And so if I'm thinking of stories to tell and how I'm going to put sort of this more like a funny perspective on it, it'll just sort of come full circle naturally. And that's how I know. And if it doesn't, if I get stuck, I'm like, well, this doesn't fit. This doesn't seem right. It doesn't, it just doesn't, it feels too jagged. Then I just put it to the side, and I put it somewhere else.
So is the goal to get laughs or to tell the story or a story?
Laughs are really good in comedy, right? But for me, the story, I think that's what's most important to me, is to tell the story.
Well, you're in town because you're on tour. It's called the Greatest Lovin Bastard Tour. What inspired this title, and who exactly is this bastard in question?
Well, the bastard will be me.
Okay.
The Greatest Lovin Bastard.
Okay.
So, it's a long story how I came to this, but I will try to, as I said, the man who raised me in some way was not my real father. And, he would jokingly tell us that when we were kids. But then it turned out to be that truth. I didn't find out until I was 31 who my real father was. And I didn't meet him until then. And so, but the term bastard has always been in my life. People called me that. And even when I met my real father, unfortunately, there was never a relationship developed out of that. There was an attempt to, but it was just unfortunate. And, he even sort of referred to me as his, well, you're just my bastard child, sort of. And I was like, well, that hurts, and, but it's also funny. So, I just that's the only way I know to look at it. And as a writer, I look at words and their meanings, and, bastard does have a definition if you look it up in the dictionary, and I'm not the first bastard, that's ever lived. But, people have put a really negative connotation. And so when you use that word, people sort of associate you negatively with the person that you are. And I just thought, I don't think I'm that bad. I don't think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my daddy didn't love me, but that's okay.
Yeah,
like,
you're owning it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I just said, I'm going to call myself the Greatest Lovin Bastard, and I'm just going to like go around the country and tell people that I'm a bastard and how I became a bastard and why some people don't love me because I'm a bastard. But it's okay.
Well, I can assure you that Chattanooga will definitely fall in love with you. Now, being that you went through a lot, do you ever worry about the audience laughing at the wrong part of your story? It is what it is.
I think the parts that might come close to that would be better if they laughed even harder.
Really?
Yeah. I think so,
Okay. That's an interesting, does it serve as healing in a way for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
As I've said, like my therapist always says that, Brooke, you sure you're not using comedy as a coping mechanism?
Yeah. No, it sounds like it.
Yeah, but also as a way of, storytelling as an art form.
Laugh at my pain while I tell a story and create art.
Yeah. What else am I going to do with it?
Hey,
Yeah,
you know
I don't
what?
know what else I'm going to do with this story.
You said that your upbringing inspired you, but is there another comedian, a person maybe that you just come across along the way that's like, you know what? This makes me want to be a comedian or be even more funny or tell better stories.
Yeah, I've had a lot of inspirations. So even as a little kid, I was obsessed with Jim Carrey and Robin Williams. I would watch Ace Ventura over and over and over. It's a very, silly movie. And I don't know if at the time there was so much chaos going on around me, if it was like, but I can just remember sort of like just obsessing over the silliness and just everything about Jim Carrey, like Dumb and Dumber too. I can probably quote that movie from beginning to end. Because there was something about comedy that just sort of brought me like alive, and just I don't know. So it kind of started like that with, I would say, watching those films, comedic actors.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got older that I started watching a lot of stand up. And then that's sort of when I just, I would watch Comedy Central every Saturday, same time. It was like the countdown of 100 best comics, and that's how I discovered, anyone from, Bill Hicks was one of my favorites. I loved his writing. There's two parts to comedy. You have the writing and you have the performance. And I come to it as a writer. I've only been doing it for 4 years. I still work a lot on the performance part. But to me, Bill Hicks just sort of had he had both.
Yeah.
Mitch Hedberg, Maria Bamford, Kathleen Madigan, Richard Pryor, George Carlin.
Out of all those people that you name, is there a joke that holds significance to you, or is there like one joke that you remember that you wish you probably would have written?
Haha. Yeah. Tons. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah. One of my favorites is by Bill Hicks, where he's talking about. He's like, people always say that childbirth is a miracle. He's like, a miracle. And he goes kind of like, I'm not going to tell the whole joke. But it's kind of a longer thing about why it's not a miracle. But then he starts referring to someone who is like in the trailer just sort of popping out one baby after another. He's like, there's another miracle thunk. There's another miracle thunk. And then like at the end of it, he's like, well, it'd be a miracle if you know who the daddy was.
Oh.
And I was like, man, as a bastard, I wish I would have wrote that joke,
That's funny.
So, yeah. That's
now
one of the jokes I wish.
If you weren't doing comedy, what would you be doing, or what would you be failing at?
I'd probably be working at State Farm. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I've already failed at so much.
Oh my God.
This is true. True story. I've I've tried a lot of things. I don't know. I think this is the only thing I can do.
Really?
Not really. I don't know if I have any other skills. Or,
and that's okay.
you know, I actually, when I was in my early 20s, I really wanted to go to medical school. So, but I'm a hypochondriac, so that stopped me from going.
Yeah.
But I thought about it. I wanted to be a neuroscientist. Excuse me, maybe not a doctor. I wanted to be a scientist.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any pre-show rituals or anything strange or superstitious that you do before you get on stage?
Absolutely. I get really nervous when I go on stage. It never changes. It doesn't matter how many times I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time is like the first time.
That's like, that's how I am when I get on airplanes. Hate them. And it's like a brand new fear every single time.
Yeah.
And of course.
You shouldn't be doing it. Terrifying.
Do you not like to fly?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I only did it once. I didn't fly the first time until I was 37.
Will
Now
you do
I'll
it
never
again?
Do it again. Yeah.
No matter the distance, you're just like, yeah, well, just hop in a car.
I'm just going to drive.
I feel it. I always said if God wanted us that high, he'll give us wings. And we do not have them, so.
Yeah. That's why they have to knock out cats when they fly on places. People are like, why do they have to do that? Because they know they're not supposed to. So that's how I am on an airplane, like a feral cat. It's not good. So
you don't have, I'm sure you have your support with you. Do you not hold your support's hand? Have your animals with you? Talk? Crack jokes midair? Yes. Oh, people will love it. I think it'll take the pressure off.
I can't do it.
I've had someone hold my hand.
Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and they talk
Changes
to me.
the whole fact that you're in the air.
Well, I
in
mean,
an aluminum can
at some
with
point,
150 strangers going 700 miles per hour.
if it's going to go down, it's going
Nowhere
to go
near a
down.
hospital or Chick-fil-A, and you're okay with that.
Yeah, I paid my ticket. So we have no choice at some point. So it's like we might
Once
as
you're
well
up there,
enjoy our last moments together, get to
Yeah.
know who I'm sitting next to, you know? So that's how at some point it is what it is. What are you going to do?
just not go. Just not go. That's why I'm driving on
Now?
this tour.
Yes. Well, that's why you are this wonderful loving bastard, because you're driving. How do you handle hecklers? You know, because not everybody is going to like a joke.
I have been pretty fortunate that I haven't had to deal with many hecklers.
Yay!
It's happened once or twice. They had been drinking a lot,
Mm-hmm.
so that can happen. But the maybe one or two times I had to deal with it, I just ignored them, which is hard to do still because you're like in the middle of a set, or a story, and it was some girl, she'd been drinking, and she was just like commenting on like everything I said, you know, and it was kind of like I was like, okay, so I'm just going to have to tell this story with this drunk person now. Is what it was like. You know, I was like, I'm going to say something. She's going to respond to it. I'm going to say the next thing. She's going to respond to it. But her response is not a part of this story, you know.
But did it work, though?
But it worked, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just kept going, you know.
Now, I always wondered while you guys are on stage, you're telling multiple jokes, multiple stories. During rehearsal, is it just like, okay, we're going to ease into this. We're going to go here. Then we have the climax, and then we're going to just let them down gently and shoo our way out.
That does sound easier.
Oh, what's your process? How does it go? Like, I always wondered, like, what that process was like.
It's, so, like, rehearsing or practicing for a set, I really focus on the writing. So I will write, I will rewrite, I will write, I will rewrite. I will try to structure it in a way, not only so that I can remember it on stage, but so that it is a story that does kind of make sense to the audience, right? Because they don't know this story. They don't know what's happened and how it's come together. So it's like I can write it in a way in my head that makes sense to me, but how am I going to write it and perform it in a way to where it makes sense? So I do that, but I actually don't do a lot of practicing. That sounds bad.
No, you're natural.
I'm a bad artist.
It's second nature.
Because I think I learned, like I used to when I first started doing stand-up, is I would spend hours and hours and hours just like pacing the room. I used to use a hairbrush. I have a real microphone now, but I used to use my hairbrush as like, and I would try to like, practice it, see if I can remember and get through whatever. And it's almost like I'd overdo it. And it didn't matter how much I practiced. I still got on stage and did it a different way every time. And no performance is the same as the one before, which is part of like, sometimes I'll make up a joke along the way while I'm on stage. You know? Well, that's cool, and I didn't have that before I got up here, but now I have it. And sometimes I think you can just over rehearse, but I do rehearse. I'm not saying I don't, but I don't,
No, I feel that.
I really focus on the writing. I want the writing to be good.
Yeah.
And that's the part I sort of really, I do a lot of writing.
Yeah. Well, just telling your story, someone's going to connect to it. Either way, a lot of people have grown up in Georgia. They might have not been raised by dogs, as you said. They
may have been raised by their parents, which would be really weird.
So someone's connecting either way. So it's fine. If your life were a Lifetime movie, what would the dramatic title be?
Wait a minute.
And you can't use your tour title.
Ah, dang. I was going to go with that one. What's it? Worst hatin'est bastard? Or I'm just kidding. Switch the two adjectives. I'm just kidding. Lifetime movies, are those like the Christmas romantic movies? Or are those the like people get killed?
We can do the Christmas romantic ones, or the ones where they get killed. All
right.
Lifetime is a wide range of everything.
Is it?
And it tends to be scary sometimes.
That's why I was wondering. I was like, is it someone gets killed, or is there like a romance? Well, I guess that could.
They have both.
Those two can't really exist without the other. So,
what is your spirit telling you? If you want to go with the Christmas theme,
I would do a Christmas themed Lifetime movie.
Okay. No, what would that title be?
I'd call it White Trash Hanukkah. That's what I would call it.
Okay, that'll be interesting. I would love to see that. Now, you're right.
Soon this Christmas.
Put that in. Hey, if you put that in a joke, give me a writing credit, okay?
Okay, I will.
All right, thank you. Being that you are on this Greatest Lovin Bastard Tour, people can catch you at the Big Chill on the 30th and at the Comedy Catch on the 31st. And tickets are available at the door. But if they want to get them in advance, where do they go?
Eventbrite.
Okay.
Yep.
And they will be available up until that day.
Up until the day of, yeah.
Okay, you guys come out, support my girl, Brooke Berry. Okay, she is in town for the Greatest Lovin Bastard Tour. Like I said, she'll be at the Big Chill on the 30th and the Comedy Catch at the 31st. Head over to Eventbrite for your tickets in advance, or you could just get them at the door, all right? Don't let her down, because the energy is going to be amazing. Thank you so much for coming through, speaking with me, letting me learn more about you and get into your world.
Thank you.
And we will be seeing you. You guys check her out. It's your girl, Zinab K here with Brewer Media Group. Have a wonderful day, Chattanooga.